Hello, my name is Gina Vittesi and I am the Vice Chair of Merton CIL. On behalf of the Board, it is with great pleasure that I present to you the Chair's report and highlight some of our key achievements over the past 12 months. In January 2020, we began to feel the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. We immediately responded by adapting our services and applying for emergency funding to sustain the organisation so that we could continue to provide accessible support to local deaf and disabled people. We are very proud of our members, supporters, volunteers, trustees and staff that have pulled together to continue to help deaf and disabled people to live independent lives in the face of a pandemic. This year's impact report shows the difference that our unique service members, volunteers, supporters and staff make to the lives of deaf and disabled people in Merton. Our annual survey found that 76% of people think that we address issues that are important to deaf and disabled people. Feedback like this confirms people value our efforts and support our direction. Our advice and advocacy service provided nearly 1,100 sessions of support to 265 unique individuals. We also supported with information, signposting, guidance and connection to a further 150 cases. These figures are a little lower than last year due to changes in the team. Our work throughout the year contributed to over £643,000 to the local economy. This year we were also re-awarded the AQS Quality Mark for the third time. So it's really well done to our staff. Our hate crime casework service has supported with 136 disability hate crime cases since its launch in 2016. Our target per year is 12 cases. We have delivered 185 sessions of support around disability hate crime and 2 hate crime support sessions. This was a space for deaf and disabled people to come together and get more information, experience and get peer support. 41% of deaf and disabled people reported feeling much safer after using our service. We have also worked with Inclusion London and Stay Safe East to support 5 DDPOs across London to build and develop their disability hate crime projects. We now have 362 members. 279 are deaf and disabled people and 83 are non-disabled people who support our work and values. This is a 12% increase from last year. Throughout the year, we have delivered 30 events, including craftism and chat groups, that 100% of attendees rated good or great. My Voice Matters, hate crime drop-in sessions, outreach around the borough and our AGM. Merton CIL also spent 861 hours on policy and strategy work on behalf of deaf and disabled people. This figure is lower than last year due to a change in CEO and lower capacity for policy work. We continue to ensure that we supported members and service users to speak up around topics like housing, welfare reform, social care and hate crime. We supported deaf and disabled people to respond to 8 consultations to ensure their voices are heard. We also conducted extensive research into the issues deaf and disabled people face around social housing in Merton. This has been identified as a key area of policy work. We investigated issues of concern in preparation to raise with council and social housing providers, but unfortunately the COVID-19 pandemic has brought this work to a halt and we have not been able to progress. Throughout this year, we were also able to invest more into our trustees to ensure that the organisation continues to adapt and remains governed to a high standard. Our Vice Chair, that's me, took part in a year-long leadership programme for disabled leaders across London that supports to develop skills around leadership and ensure the sustainability of Merton CIL. This year we will also be recruiting for a new trustee and a new treasurer. In 2019, our unsecured tenancy at the Wandle Valley Resource Centre was terminated, and we had less than 6 months to find a new and accessible property in Merton. We found a property in Mitcham and moved into the space in January 2020. Over the next year, we will be working to sustain our core services. This is made a little harder by the current situation. We are using our relationship with funders to explore how we transition into the next stage of COVID-19 restrictions and how best our core services can adapt to support deaf and disabled people based on what they tell us that they need. We have redeveloped our fundraising strategy and financial model to take into account the new funding landscape. We were very sad to see Lila leave the role of CEO in August 2019. Tom Litchley was her successor, but unfortunately decided to move on in April. We thank both Tom and Lila for their hard work and dedication. As we go into the new financial year, trustees have chosen to adopt a co-management structure. This means that the organisation will be managed by all members of the skilled senior management team, who combined have a wealth of experience. The organisation will effectively utilise and develop the skills of the team. This will ensure stability and consistency for the organisation during a time of change. I will finish by thanking staff and volunteers of Merton CIL, whose hard work and dedication in supporting deaf and disabled people is the reason why Merton CIL goes from strength to strength. I would also like to thank my fellow trustees who have supported and guided us so expertly through this year. And thank you to our members and our funders. Also, if you would take a look at our new impact report for more information, and we would welcome any questions that you may have for us. Thank you all for being here today.